The night is live. Everybody's talking. The night is live. The night is live on us. It's always live.
There's just so much hypocrisy there. And the Republicans have to, if you really want the Democrats to work out, you have to come with open hands and open hearts.
Wake up, black man. You wake up, people.
Waiting out there, man, for 3 years.
I'm the only people in the world. We are not allowed to talk to each other. Everyone else.
Alright, so we're going to just keep going with the broadcast. And then we're going to rebroadcast it, recast it. You know, people are out there, they're looking for it. You know, I'm looking at my pad here and it says I'm live, no problems. You know, so I know it's not on my end. My equipment is working fine. There's something going on with Facebook. So we're gonna beat them at their own game. We'll just do the broadcast and then we'll come back at you. We're gonna put it back out there by 3 o'clock. This way you can catch it. And then next week, we're going to run some experiments and reach out to Facebook and try to find out exactly what they're doing on their end to block us. Because we noticed that, like before each broadcast, we would tag people and let them know we're out here, because we do have some faithful viewers, and they just all of a sudden I can't tag people anymore. So I know they get nervous about the things that I speak about. Anytime you talk about black empowerment and uplifting our people and trying to do something positive, you know, you're gonna meet opposition. You know, and I'm aware of that. I'm prepared for that. I'm not worried about that because, like I said, there's so many platforms out there. We're just gonna have to change our platform, and that's why I need you guys to go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, so that you can get notice that when I'm broadcasting on YouTube and other outlets, you'll be able to come on and be a part of the cast. We're not trying to we're not trying to be beholden to just any one entity. We know that, you know, like I said, we know how things work in the industry. When you do things to uplift our people and give out just basic information, you know, we meet with opposition. That's just the way it is. That's the way it works. And, you know, as you can see, well, it's a little too bright, but I'm trying to send a message out, and it's streaming to a point, but then it's being blocked. And like I said, up until now, I had no problem. I've been sending out messages all day, letting people know we're getting ready to broadcast. I've been doing what I have to do, my research, get ready for the podcast and everything. But every time before the show starts, everything go haywire on Facebook. All of a sudden, Facebook is in jank mode. So it's cool. We understand what that's about, and we're not gonna let that deter us, because when some great person once said, if you're not meeting opposition when you try to do something, then you ain't doing shit. So the more opposition I meet, the more stumbling blocks and obstacles in my way, I know I'm on the right path. I know I'm doing something positive, and I'm doing something of substance. So we're gonna keep on rolling on. The train's gonna keep rolling on, because it has already left the station, and there's really nothing they can do about it to slow it down or to stop it. So with your help, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get off this platform. We've had enough of the Facebook nonsense. This is the last week probably that we're gonna broadcast on Facebook. So we're gonna be doing some experimenting and doing some things to see what other avenues we can explore. I basically, like I said, the equipment is working. I'm checking everything. The link with my Wi-Fi link is perfect. Everything's up and running. It's just that for some reason or another, Facebook don't want me to get out. But again, it's all good. We know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, the mic is live here. I'm your host, Leroy Adams, and we are coming at you live. We got the man, the artist, the legend, Sammy Davis Jr., the king of the Brat Pack, in the background bringing up the music. I was dealing, with a lot of stuff this week, man, and it's just that this tune, I Gotta Be Me, has been ringing in my head like all week. So I decided to bring up Sammy. And try to get some things going and let him be our music for the background today. This tune, I Gotta Be Me. And that's basically the what I want to talk to you guys about today. We're gonna, I always share with you things that are happening in the news, and give you the main topic. So the main topic of today is to thy own self be true. To thy own self be true. That's going to be the topic of the day. Just being true to yourself in your mission in life. So we're gonna be talking about that. But before we do, as we always do, we're going to get into the news. Courtesy of our good friend, our good Facebook friend, Sadell Houston. I always tell you I do my research, and Sadell is she's the administrator of the American Nubian News Group on Facebook. So if you're not a part of that page, I suggest that you do. Sadell and the members are always dropping some nice information regarding our people and the things that concern us. That's the American Nubian News on Facebook. I know that's bad, it's trying to get to me. Bab is one of my faithful listeners, so that's how I know when things are jank. Yeah, she's just letting me know that for some reason she's not getting my signal. So I know her and a lot of other people are probably looking for it. And like I said, my equipment is working perfectly. I'm looking at the pad. It has the live signal up there saying that I'm broadcasting, I'm getting out. But for some reason, Facebook is blocking the signal, and it's trying to fool me to make me think that I'm out there and I'm not getting any listeners, you know. And I noticed last week a lot of people that normally come on wasn't in the chat room, and I'm like bugging, thinking it was me. And then Babs contacted me after the podcast, said, "Hey, I was looking for you, I couldn't find you." And all the time, like today, I get a signal here saying that I'm going live. Everything is live, and people couldn't find me. People would call me all week saying, "Yo, what happened to the podcast, man?" And so they had to catch the rebroadcast. So we're gonna do it again. You know, we always rebroadcast this, so it's all good. You know, they're not stopping nothing. They can try, but they can't. Technology. There's always a way around when you're dealing with technology. All right. So let's get into the discussion, ladies and gentlemen. First up, in the news. We see all the stuff that's going on in Washington with this whole move, with this phony memo that they got circulating around, trying to stop the Mueller investigation. Seems like every time this man gets closer to hanging the president, they come up with something new to distract us. And like I said before, we can't let them control the narrative. You know, we the people have to control the narrative. So don't let them control the narrative. Don't get caught up into this phony memo that means nothing. It's just a political ploy to keep your minds off of what's going on. It's a smokescreen. It'll have you looking at one hand while the other hand is doing something dirty. So keep your eyes on the prize. The prize is getting this man out of office, impeaching him and bringing down that whole Republican establishment. And they're going to do any and everything they can to make sure people are distracted and not doing what they need to do. So, stay focused, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let yourselves get distracted, and keep your eyes on the prize. Don't let this thing get twisted. The whole purpose of this is to take the eyes off the ultimate goal, which is his impeachment and the crumbling established GOP establishment. We want to send a shout out. Last week, they did that phony State of the Union address, which was basically a KKK rally. It kills me how. And I said this last week, man. The Democrats, the Republicans. We know what the Republicans are. There's no hiding it. We know they're a bunch of racist, crazy, genocidal maniacs. But the Democrats are killing me, man. It's like they do all this worthless, symbolic BS, man. I mean, what was the point of all them coons sitting up in Congress with the kente cloth on, like a bunch of monkeys sitting in a zoo? Like, really? If and that's why I wanted to send a shout out. I was getting ready to say, shout out to Senator Maxine Waters. About a week before the phony State of the Union, the KKK rally disguised as a State of the Union address, they asked her, "Are you going to the rally?" And Maxine Waters basically just came out and said, "I'm not going. What am I going to go? I don't respect that man. He's a liar. He's a fraud. There's no way I'm going to sit up there and listen to him lie to my face." And I respect that. Maxine said no, she ain't going, and she didn't go. And after any time a sitting president gives a State of the Union address, the opposite side has somebody come on to give their opinion or a rebuttal to the speech. And several people, I think it was the young Kennedy, was designated to give the rebuttal. But Maxine gave her own rebuttal, and she put it where it should be. And I got mad respect for Sister Waters and what she's doing. I don't know if you can hear this.
California's 43rd Congressional District and the ranking member of the House Committee on
But this is what she had to say.
Call upon people to set aside differences when in reality he has divided Americans in ways no other moderate president has done. Donald Trump defined himself in his response to the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville when he defended white supremacists and the KKK.
I'm playing it for my
After
past.
a young woman protesting against racism was killed by a white supremacist. One speech cannot and does not make Donald Trump presidential. He's not presidential, and he never will be presidential. He claims that he's bringing people together, but make no mistake, he is a dangerous, unprincipled, divisive, and shameful racist. He stokes racial animosity by
Go ahead,
referring
Maxine.
to black NFL players as sons of bitches and demonizing immigrants from Haiti and Africa. This president, with his vulgarity and his disrespect for women and people of color, is a terrible role model for our children. My remarks today are not merely a response to this President's State of the Union address. They are a warning to the American people, a warning that this president does not deserve to represent us, and that he's taken America down the road to isolation and division.
Yeah, that's Maxine Waters. You see the way she laid that out? She didn't mince no words. She didn't try to be all, politically correct. She let you know this is a dangerous, psychopathic racist. And she warned the American people. This reminds me a lot of what happened during the rise of Adolf Hitler, when everybody was trying to warn people what's going on in Europe and tell people to get prepared and to intervene and get in there and take this man down before he got too strong. And everybody laughed at the little house painter, the little corporal, saying that he wasn't going to do nothing, he wasn't strong enough, don't worry about him. And in the end, it brought the world to almost brought the world to his knees, And not so much, and what people don't understand, it wasn't so much done according to his own power, but this man had connections all over the world, and a lot of it came from the United States. A lot of the money that financed the Nazi movement in the 1930s and 40s came from American capitalism, came from Wall Street. A lot of that money, in fact, it was George Bush's grandfather was head of the bank that laundered the stolen money that the Nazis stole from the Jewish bank owners back in that time. So, and the same thing's going on here with this man. We're laughing at him, we call him a buffoon, we call him an idiot, which he is, but the point is, he's being backed by a lot of old, strong money here in the United States. And these people are really trying to raise the fourth column and bring back the fascist Nazi state right here in good old USA. And you guys better stop playing around and start taking this thing serious. You see what he's doing to the Justice Department? He's trying to discredit the FBI and the agencies that are charged with criminal investigation, so that when they come down, when Mueller's investigation is over, and they come down with indictments against him and his family, he'll be able to do what he did with the election and say, look at the crooked FBI, the fake media, and all the people that hate me. And he's got 30% of the country that's going to get behind him and make sure that he stays in power. And you guys better start realizing what's going on here. So kudos to Maxine Waters for standing up the way she did. I'm so disgusted with these feckless, no spine, no backbone Democrats. If y'all had any real balls, y'all wouldn't have showed up to that phony KKK rally disguised as the State of the Union address. And you're sitting up there in your kente cloth looking like a bunch of baboons. What in the world do you think you accomplished sitting there like that? You accomplished absolutely nothing. But if you wasn't there, if you was absent, that would have spoke volumes to the American people, and that would have spoke volumes to the world. But you know, just like every other dumb slave, you walked up in there, master said, we gotta come, so we better be there. We ain't gotta clap and sing, but we better sit down and be there and hush our mouths. And you sat there quiet like a bunch of idiots, man. Y'all look so stupid. They're making y'all look stupid right now. And this is why they're able to stay in power. Because y'all hoping that y'all whole platform is the I hate Trump platform. And like I said last week, y'all don't have nothing of substance yourselves that you're bringing to the table. You need to bring something of substance to the table to let the American people know that not only are you not down with his plan, but you got a plan of your own that could bring people into prosperity. You know, you need healthcare needs to be the same as those. You need to talk about the fact that when unemployment reaches a certain level, it's going to be frozen. All right, so you need to talk about the fact that Betsy DeVos needs to be outed as the Secretary of Education, and someone with real education experience be put in that place. Somebody who taught in a classroom, somebody who ran a school, somebody who knows what teachers need to succeed, someone who knows what young people in public education need to succeed, someone who is a parent, someone who has a child in public education and dealt with people and children and parents and communities with public education. Not a CEO, a bean counter who basically ran her company into the ground and only got a come up from this orange fool. You know, but y'all not talking about that stuff. Y'all chasing these rabbits down the rabbit hole that mean nothing. That's why, yeah, you can hate Trump, but the Democrats are just as feckless and useless as they ever been. And that's why I always say this is the time for a third party to arise in this country and take the independent party to the heights that it can be taken to. A serious, viable, economic, social, and political plan, economic plan that can make people wake up and see that they've been used. That the Democrat and Republicans are two different heads of the same snake. And that's the truth of the matter. So again, I gotta shout out our sister, Maxine Waters. You know, it seems like she's the only one that's standing up. You know, everybody's beating around the bush. Oh, I wouldn't call him a racist, but you know, I wouldn't play on the word racist. No, he's a racist. He's a card-carrying member of the fascist, white supremacist KKK. Let's be for real. His father was, and this is on record, his father was a KKK member, his mother was a KKK member, like father, like mother, like son. You know, and kudos and big up to Sister Maxine Waters for calling it like it is and not being afraid. You know, this sister's not being afraid. We need to stand up and stand with her and stand by her and make sure that she's protected. You know, because this is a very dangerous thing that she's doing. You know, American politics is no different from any other politics around the world. And we look at what happened around the world in Russia and Korea, and when people stand up against their government, you know, they disappear. You know, so we need to make sure our sister Maxine Waters is protected and that she has the support that she needs. You see what happened with Don Lemon. You know, Don Lemon is a broadcaster on CNN. His younger sister drowned while fishing at a community pond. You know, and that's the way they play it. If you're too high profile and in the face, you know, they're not gonna go after you. They'll go after your family. You know, so let's make sure that our sister is protected and she has the support that they need. Also in the news, kudos to the stars of the Black Panther movie. I understand that movie has outsold in pre-ticket sales any other movie in the history of cinema. All right. So there goes that old racist lie that black films don't make money. All right. The Black Panther movie that's about to hit the theaters has made more money selling pre-tickets than any other movie in the history of cinema. So again, that kills that lie. Y'all can't say that black people can't make films for black people by black people that's gonna make some money. All right. So kudos to the cast, the director, and the crew. You know, and of course the white supremacists are up in arms. They're saying that the Black Panther movie is totally racist because there ain't nothing but black people are in it, and it's got nothing but black stars in it, and it's totally racist. If there was a white movie about white people, well, guess what? There ain't been nothing but white movies about white people for the last 50 years. All right, where were y'all when Hollywood was totally white, and there were nothing but house Negroes and butlers and slaves in them movies? All right, now that black folk are stepping up and getting their own movies, it's racist. And another clue for you, it's about an African nation. So of course everybody in it is going to be black. What's wrong with you? I tell you, man. But kudos to Marvel for taking that bold step into the future and making this happen. You know, if you got a problem, you need to go to Stan Lee, because Stan Lee and them cats, man, and Marvel, they're the ones that created the Black Panther. I didn't have a problem when it was a totally black comic book now. But now that it's a totally black movie poised on making billions of dollars, everybody's got a problem with it. You know, it's always about the money, folks. I told you before, follow the money. All right? You want to see why they're doing things? Follow the money. You want to understand why they're outraged? Follow the money. You want to understand why they're motivated to get involved? Follow the money. It's always about the money. All right. Also in the news, sad to say, our brother Dennis Edwards from the Temptations. He was the lead singer from the Temptations. He died at the age of 74. The Temptations was an iconic group back in the late 60s and early 70s. We want to send a shout out to him and his family. Thank him for the music. Many blessings to him, as much as he's blessed us with the music and inspiration that he gave to so many people. You know, it's sad news. We're losing so many of our stars, so many people. But there are young people stepping up. You know, younger generations coming through. There are a lot of great musicians out there stepping up, but some shoes just can't be filled. Some voids just can't be filled, and that's definitely going to be one of them. He's a great music icon and a great musician in his time. Also, in the news, we have a father that's looking for his missing daughter. She's been missing since December, and this brother has not given up. He's still searching for her. He's still trying to find her. Of course, you know, he's heartbroken about this, you know, and he's very determined to find this young lady. That I understand is from Patterson, New Jersey. His name is Willie Coley. Says his 24-year-old daughter Shayna was last seen in Patterson parking lot, just steps from her home. It was raining and dark out, but Willie says someone spotted Shayna arguing with another person by her car. That was almost 2 months ago, December 5th. But that little did he know that was the last time anyone would see her. So we want to send a shout out to him. If you do have any information, the Patterson police says that she was injured and possibly abducted in her own car. Her blood and glasses were found in her building's parking lot on Cologne Avenue. She has a gray 2013 Nissan Altima with New Jersey's plates R74HRX, R74HRX. So if you have any information, help this father out. He's looking for his daughter. As any real man knows, there's a special bond between father and daughter. We move heaven and earth for the young ladies in our care. There's nothing we wouldn't do for them, and if something happens to them, it's devastating. So we want to send our thoughts and prayers to that brother, and hopefully some resolution. And the worst part of it all is just not knowing. It's one thing to lose a person, but it's another thing to just have it hanging in the air and not knowing if they're hurt, if they're alive, if they're dead. You want closure. You need closure. Something we need as human beings, and we want to send a shout out to the family of this young lady. Also in the news, we want to send a shout out to our brother, 38-year-old, our brother Malcolm Alexander, who was released from prison after 38 years serving in prison for something he did not do. And we know with this whole mass incarceration scam that they are running on our people, that Malcolm is not the only one. There's a number of people who have been recently released due to DNA evidence. The cops back in that time period were very ruthless in terms of reaching their quota, their arrest quota. They would beat brothers till the break of dawn, until they got a phony confession, starve you, wouldn't let you go to the bathroom, make you defecate on yourself, and all kinds of horrendous things just to get brothers to incriminate themselves. But this brother, Malcolm Alexander, spent 38 years in prison for a crime he did not commit, and he's been released. He's back with his family, so we want to send a shout out to him. And all I can say to you, my brother, is congratulations, but sue, sue, sue. I would sue them for $1 million for every year I spent behind the walls, and that ain't no lie. It's a shame that brothers have to deal with stuff like this. You be taken away from your family. You lose any employment you might have. You don't watch your children grow up. Family members die. Parents die off. Brothers and sisters. All kinds of stuff happen, man. And you're locked behind bars day after day, knowing that you're there, innocent, and not given a chance to prove your innocence because the court system that we live under has already deemed you guilty. So shout out to our brother, and let's hope that he's able to pick up the pieces of his life, and he's able to get on and move on. And also, finally, I'm not going to stay too long because, like I said, this thing is all jank, man. But we want to get as much out as we can. Finally, in the news, I don't know if you guys heard about this silly teacher from the Bronx. This heifer wanted to teach the kids about slavery, so she made them lay down on the floor, and she decided to step on them to show them what it felt like to be a slave. And then she asked them, how does it feel to be a slave, while she stepped on them. So the story says, kids and parents say the Bronx teacher needs a lesson in racism. Middle school 118 teacher Patricia Cummings shocked and traumatized children in her social studies class when she singled out black students and told them to lie down on the floor for a lesson on U.S. slavery, and then stepped on their backs to show them what slavery felt like. Students and staffers said. Students at Cummings, who is white, pulled the insensitive stunt in a multiple 7th grade class as part as a unit on the infamous Middle Passage, in which Africans were kidnapped and brought to America as part of the slave trade. So this white woman figures the best way to teach black kids about slavery is to lay them down on the floor and step on them, as if we need a lesson as if our kids need a lesson in oppression and slavery. If anything, the white kids need to know what slavery feels like. They're the ones that she should have laid down and stepped on. Not saying that she should have did that, demoralized anyone like that. And the flip side of this is, what type of children are we raising, ladies and gentlemen? Because, see, I know for a fact, any child that I ever been in contact with, that I ever taught or helped to raise, ain't no way in hell they would have laid down on no floor and let somebody, white, black, or otherwise, just step on them. They'd have had a problem. They'd have got drop kicked all the way back to the 1700s so that they themselves could realize what slavery was about. And I would have stood by every move that they made if they raised hell and tore the school down. There's no way in hell you can justify what this woman did. No way. And anybody trying to need their head examined, And black folk need to get off this kumbaya spirit that we have, that everybody's our friend, because everybody's not our friend, And we need to start raising our children to be a little bit more defiant, All due respect to Martin Luther King and his movement and the things that he did for us and the advancements that he did for us, but that movement of nonviolence and compliance has screwed us up in a lot of ways, We need, like I said, kudos to the brother and what he did for us, but there's a certain part of defiance that we are born with that is necessary to survive in nature. And that whole movement has sort of eradicated and castrated that sense of defiance out of us. And we need to be a bit more defiant when it comes to certain things. We need to be able to stand up and tear shit down when certain things don't go a certain way. I'm not saying we need to do that on a whim when we don't get our way, but we have to be prepared to do what we need to do, and we need to instill that in our children. Because those same children that laid on the floor and let this woman step on them, those are the same children that'll go walking off with a stranger just because they said so. All right? Just because I said so. Just because I'm the authority. Just because I got on a suit and tie or a badge or whatever, you're going to come with me and I'm going to take you in the alley and I'm going to rape or kill you. All because we've gotten in our mindset that we're supposed to automatically obey authority. No. That's not democracy. That's not freedom. True democracy questions authority and holds authority accountable. You don't just willingly give yourself up to anybody. That's what some of those same Jews did when they walked into the gas chamber. Oh, this guy's got a gun on me. Oh, he's in charge. Let me just go walk up in there and get fried. No, man. It don't work that way. I don't care how much authority you think you have. Every bit of authority that comes from anybody in this country comes from we the people. And we need to make our children understand that. There's a time when you have to sit your butt down and be educated and be instructed, listen to authority, obey and respect the authority given to a person and by the rights and authority of the people. But then there are times when you have to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. I will not do this. I will not be a part of this. And like I said, those same kids that laid down on that floor and let this woman step on them are the same kids are the ones that'll go off with a stranger and be raped or killed. And again, we need to start teaching our children the difference in obeying authority and being a fool, a damn fool for somebody. Because that didn't make no sense. That didn't make no sense. Ain't no child I ever raised would have stood for that. I remember when I was teaching in the high schools, we did an experiment. And I told you guys about this before. We did an experiment. We were teaching about the Holocaust. And we set up the class, and what we did was we took certain students and put them in the back, and certain students we put up front. And there was a young girl in my class that I had a good rapport with. She was pregnant at the time. And I set it up with her, and I told her, listen, I'm going to treat you a little harshly, and I told her what was going on. And she was down with it. She was cool with it. So I told her, oh, you got to sit in the back. We got an order from the principal, and that's the way it's got to go. And don't you know, the quote-unquote good kids, the kids that did it, always was on time with their assignments, did everything right, we never gave a problem in class, don't you know they went along with everything we did in that experiment? Whereas the quote-unquote bad kids, they were the ones jumping up and down. No, this ain't right. How y'all gonna segregate us and separate us? I mean, they was not having it. And when they saw me treat that young lady that way, they was like, yo, why you treating her that way? I mean, they got up in my case, man. I could never have been more proud that they didn't sit there and let injustice happen. And then when, after the experiment, we told them what was going on. We let them know what was going on. Because we always had a discussion after we did an exercise. So in the discussion, we asked them, why did you guys, the ones that went along with it, we said clearly that was wrong. We was being, we was segregating and being prejudiced against certain people. Why did you guys let that happen? Why did y'all allow that to happen? And the quote-unquote good kids said, well, that's the rule. Y'all in charge. Those were the rules. So we figured we follow the rules. So my point is, you can't always feel that going along to get along is the right way to do it. And that's why I played Sammy Davis Jr. And that's the whole basis of my discussion today. You have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to what is right, what you know is right. Okay? To thine own self be true. And if these parents would raise these children, those children that allow this white devil to step on them, to show them what slavery is, come on now. That wasn't nothing but her getting her little white supremacist ego off stepping on them babies like that. And they went along with it because somewhere in their background, they've been taught that if a person has authority, you're supposed to go along with what they say. That's not the way it works. That's not the way democracy works. That's not the way this government works. We the people are supposed to rule. There's nothing more sacred than a person's right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness. And we need to teach that to our children. We need to teach them. Each one of us are born into a situation where we are given a template for a moral and a code of conduct. I don't care if you're left on a doorstep. All right. At some point, you're around some adults and some individuals that's going to teach you morality, going to teach you mores, and going to teach you a code of conduct. And the fact of the matter is that the code of conduct that these children that allowed this woman to step on them are being taught is misguided and misconstrued. And we need to re-educate ourselves to what it is to be a human being and to serve humanity. We need to understand that we're here to serve humanity, not individuals. And you have to be true to yourself. Like the song says, I gotta be me. Regardless of what my mother wanted me to do, or my father wanted me to do, or at times what my woman want me to do, or the people under my care, regardless of what they feel, the direction that I should be going in, I got to be me. Because as the song says, if I'm not right for myself, I can't be right for nobody else. And that's basically what my message is to everybody today. You got to be you. You got to develop that dream that you have. And you have to put yourself into it and go for it. And a lot of times it might mean ruin. You might not get there. It might mean you have to go hungry for a couple of days. And you might have to go without. But guess what? You set the standard. You set the rule. You got to be true to yourself. And as you look and see what's happening in government, and you see what's happening in the world, you see people that are not true to themselves. They talk all these ideals and how beautiful, great this country is, and how this is the greatest country in the world. That's a bunch of bull crap, man. A country's greatness is relative in perspective. All right? If you're the type of person that like asphalt and the hustle and bustle and the day-to-day hustle in a big city, then yeah, you would perceive this as being the greatest nation on earth. But if you're the type of person that loves greenery, loves animals, loves hunting and gathering, that lives to get up in the morning to eat fresh fruit and vegetables, swim in untainted waters, and be able to ride on an elephant's back, then guess what? Africa is the greatest country in the world. So you see, that whole phrase is relative. And we got to stop fooling ourselves and falling into that mind trick that we play on ourselves and play on each other. But only you know what's great for you. And you got to be true to yourself. So that when somebody comes to you and say, I got to teach you about slavery, so lay down so I can step on your back or step on your neck. When your boss tells you, hey, look, if you want your job, you got to bend over this desk. Or you got to step and fetch and be a coon for me. You know, if you're true to yourself, if you're true to your mission, if you're true to who you are, to your creator, to your family, and to the true nation of who you are, then you won't fall for that. You won't go for that. You have to be true to yourself. Just like the song says, I gotta be me, daring to try to do it or die. I gotta be me. And I've lived by that my whole life. You know, I gotta be me. I walked away from a lot of money because I gotta be me. I walked away from a lot of women, a lot of dudes that wanted to put money in my pocket. A lot of situations where I could have got over, but I couldn't do it because I got to be me. I got to be true to myself. I got to be true to who I am. And that's basically what I want to say to you guys in a nutshell. Be true to yourself. You know, be true to your family. Be true to your neighborhoods. Be true to your community, and be true to your culture. Don't be like these coons running around with their nose up the orange one's butt. You know, stand for something. Be like Maxine Waters. You know, stand for something. Be true to something. You know, stand for something so that you won't fall for just anything. You know, we need to regain that spirit. Like I said, I don't agree totally with the brother's philosophy, but we need more Martin Luther Kings. We need more Malcolm X's. We need more Muhammad Ali's. You gotta be true to yourself. Be able to stand and look death and ridicule and ostracization in the eye and say, damn all of that, full speed ahead. Because I know this mission that I'm on, this journey, this road that I'm traveling, is what the Creator put me here to do. So listen, before I go, we want to send a shout out. We got some birthdays out there. Happy birthday to Erica Flight. She is the wife of my partner Hassan. Hassan was the engineer on the first Tears album. We want to send a shout out to Erica. Happy birthday to her. Another shout out to our sister Queen Umi Fields. She had a birthday today as well. There are a number of other people that had a birthday. Pops from the TV show with the Wayans brothers. Pops had a birthday. We want to send a shout out to Pops. And also we want to send a shout out to Bruno Mars. You understand, Bruno did very well at the Grammys. I think he won like 7 or 8 Grammys He won Song of the Year. He won Album of the Year. I knew there was something special about that brother when I first laid eyes on him. So shout out to him and congratulations to him as well. Our unsung hero of the podcast today is the one and only Sammy Davis Jr. You see, I got him playing in the background back there. Sammy Davis Jr. was an entertainer for a long time. He started when he was like 7 years old. There is a great show that he did where he had his father come on. Very touching interview he did with his father when they discussed the early years. It was quite funny. Sammy's father said that he used to take him on the road and dress him in full suits and gave him a cigar and passed him off as a midget. But it was a very touching interview, and you know they showed real love for each other, man, and it was great, you know, to see a father and son, particularly black father and son, sit there and reminisce and show genuine love for each other, and you could see the father was so proud in terms of what Sammy was able to accomplish. And I remember Sammy Davis Jr. going through a lot of ridicule back in the day when he reclaimed. I'm not even gonna say converted. When he reclaimed his heritage, his real Jewish heritage, his Hebrew heritage. A lot of black people were saying that he was selling out and this, that, and the other. But that just goes to show the ignorance of people, you know, because we are the Hebrews of the Bible. We are the ones, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, Jesus Christ is from our bloodline. So shout out to Sammy, his wife, who I had the pleasure of meeting out to these. We want to send a shout out to her and the family. So our unsung hero, great entertainer, great humanitarian, and great statesman, Sammy Davis, King of the Brat Pack Jr. Listen, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, you know, and as Sammy was saying, you know, be you. Dare to be you, because I got to be me. You know, daring to try, to do it or die. You know, those are some powerful words when you think about it. You know, I ain't got no other choice but to try my best to make my dream come true. All right? I got to do it or die trying. And that's the truth of the matter. And anybody that can't handle that, catch the deuces. Listen, I'm out of here. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, don't get caught up in the lies that they tell, because to the point that you fail to prepare for the reality that is about to come. The mic is live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Leroy Adams. Peace out.
There's just so much hypocrisy there. And the Republicans have to, if you really want the Democrats to work out, you have to come with open hands and open heart.
Wake up, black man. I say you wake up, people.